Very good morning to students. My name is Neeti Negi, Assistant Professor, School of Architecture, Galgotias University. Today's topic of presentation is dampness. Might be you guys are aware of this term dampness, as it is a very common term we used or we saw in our daily life. So moving towards the next slide. Moving towards the prerequisites, first is introduction to dampness. Dampness is basically the presence of unwanted moisture in the structure of a building, and which is further divided into various types of dampness. We know we have seen some of the sources of dampness within our houses, within the buildings, and the causes of occurrences, and what are the effects of dampness in the building. Then next is the objective of the presentation. So the objectives of this presentation is first, we are going to study the various defects in building because of the dampness, and their remedies, their solutions for the same. Then next is defects, the case studies of defects caused by dampness or the applied forces and changes in size. Then third one is we are going to study the different remedial measures for the dampness. So the next slide is about the introduction to dampness. So the entry or the penetration of moisture inside a building is known as dampness, and the source of entrance or the penetration inside a building, it can be through floors, it can be through walls, it can be through your roofs, and it can be through foundation. So if you see these pictures, see, this is your floor level, and you know when the moisture enters it, when and then if the moisture enters through the floors, then towards the walls, this side, and then this side, this is known as rising or capillary dampness, because of the movement pattern of the moisture, which is in the upward direction, which means it is rising from the floors towards the wall. So this comes under the category of rising or capillary dampness. Same goes with this image. You can see this is again the rising dampness. See, dampness through the floors and the walls. Then comes to the next image, when the water or the moisture is entering through the roofs through the roofs. See these patches of dampness in the roof. Again in this image also, these type of dampness is known as falling or penetrating dampness. Falling or penetrating dampness, in which water enters through the roofs. And then the next is your condensation dampness. So these are again the types of dampness we discussed earlier in earlier slide. Rising or the capillary dampness, the dampness which is caused by the ground moisture rising towards the masonry wall by the capillary action. And this rising or capillary dampness happen or occurred when there is no DPC layer, when there is no damp proof force layer present, or might be where the DPC has damage. Then next is falling or penetrating dampness. Falling, it occurs when water perforates inside the masonry walls, and it can be caused because of the building defects, or using bad quality of materials or building products. Then third is your condensation dampness. It occurs due to the lack of ventilation in the building, and if they are extreme temperature fluctuation inside the building. See in this image, you can see. So in this image, you can see this is the rising dampness, and there is this penetrating dampness through the roofs, and because of the roof leakage or defective guttering, it occurred, and condensation because of the a lack of ventilation and from the fuel gases, it occurred. So these are the types of dampness we discussed. So what are the sources of dampness? One is when the dampness arising from the soil, either through the bottom or through the ground surface adjacent to the walls. See in this image, if there is this water body, or maybe there is this water table adjacent to the foundation. Uh, so because of this water, the dampness can rise uh, like this, through the ground surface like this. Then next is when the moisture is penetrating through the walls as a result of rain beating on them during the wet weather. Yes, one of the reason maybe because of the rainwater. So like this, water can penetrate inside the buildings. And then third, moisture is penetrating into the buildings, maybe because of the defective construction, such as rainwater pipes, maybe the bad quality of roofing material, or the leaking or the choked gutters. So these are some of the sources of dampness we discussed. See, this is rainwater. No, when water hits, it moves like this. Like if there is this any roof, and there is this, if there is a defect in the gutter or in the roofing, so what will happen? Water will penetrate. Rainwater will come like this, and it will penetrate through like this and this in this direction, and then inside the building. So next slide is about causes of dampness. So there are some of the causes of dampness in building. One is rain penetration. We already discussed in earlier slide. Next is your level of site. When the site is when there is this road adjacent to your site, which is at the upper level, for example, and your building is at lower level, then it also one of the cause of dampness in building. For example, uh, like this, this is your road level and this is your building level, so definitely the water will travel like this towards your building. Then next is the drainability of site. maybe there is this the poor drainage facility at your site which cause dampness in building. Then next is your the climatic condition of your state. Then next is the defective orientation. Yes, maybe the orientation of building is not appropriate as per the sun wind direction, which allows more rain penetration inside your building. Then next is your entrapped moisture in the building, which means when the excess of moisture is trapped inside inside your building. Then next is the defective construction material, which means when we are using poor quality of material which allows water to penetrate inside and enters in the building. And then the next is your defective construction, or maybe there is some error in construction through which water enters inside the building. So these are some of the causes of dampness in the building, and we are going to discuss all these dampness in detail in the next slide. So these are some of the sections of dampness, like this one. There is this one section. There is this again one section when there is this there is this wall running, and again there is this pipe, water pipe is running, and maybe there will be any leakages in this pipe. This will lead to the entering of moisture through the walls. Then the poor, if we are using poor materials. So these are some of the sections. We are going to draft these sections in detail in your in this subject. Then moving towards the next slide. So next is the climatic condition. In cold climate condition, dampness causes due to the condensation of water vapors. Maybe if the building is exposed to direct rain showers and less sun rays, it causes dampness and entrap moisture in buildings. So in this images, you can see this images shows the this is your building, and there is this uh, water body. This is the type of soil, might be clay soil, which penetrates or percolates water. Then next is yours again through the foundation. It entrapped moisture in the building, and this is because this is the basically the sunbar diagram for the better orientation of building. So the next slide is effects of dampness. These are some of the common effects caused by dampness in buildings. Are one is it causes efflorescence of bricks, tiles of stone. Then it makes the plaster weak. Third, it causes bleaching and flaking of paint due to formation of colored patches. Then it leads to the corrosion of metals. Then it also promotes the growth of termites. It also damage the floor coverings. Uh, then it also deteriorate the electrical fittings of the building, which gives rise to leakage of electricity and consequent danger of short circuiting. So these are some of the preventive measures for dampness. The following precautions should be taken to prevent dampness in building. One is the site should be located on high ground and well drained soil to safeguard against foundation dampness. For example, the building should all. For example, if this is your road level, okay, at your at the plus minus 0 0. So always design your building, the plinth of the building at this level, maybe plus 450 plus 600, so that the water coming to this side will not enter in your building. So make sure that your site is always at higher level in comparison to the road level. Then next is all the walls, exposed wall should be of sufficient thickness uh, to protect or to safeguard against the rain penetration. Then uh, superior quality of bricks should be used, which stop or which stop or stops the dampness to enter. Then good quality of cement mortar should also be used to produce definite pattern and a perfect bond in the building. Then next is cornices and string courses should be provided to repel rainwater away from the wall. Next is all the exposed surfaces like top of walls, compound walls, etc. Should be covered with waterproofing cement plaster. No, we should always use waterproofing cement plaster, as it helps. Stops the water to penetrate inside the building. Next is the cavity walls. Cavity walls we will discuss in detail in the next slides. Cavity walls also, these are the solid walls which helps in preventing the dampness. So, the remedial measures, the remedies, how to prevent dampness or how to stop water entering in the building. So, one first is use of DPC. DPC stands for damp-proof cores. Basically, damp-proof cores are the layers or the membranes of water-repellent materials which are interposed in the buildings structures at all location wherever there is a probability of water entering. Then these damp-proof courses we provided, it can be provided horizontally as well as vertically in floors and walls. If you see these images, this black line is your DPC layer, which is placed in between the which plays in between the rammed earth and between the brick ballast. So this is your foundation, this is your foundation wall, or this is your rammed earth. So this wall is created in this side so that it stops or it prevents dampness to enter in the building when the source of dampness is capillary action, like from like this. So here this will stop the water to enter at the floors. This is your floor level. Then and this is at the roof level. This is at the roof level, and at the roof it prevents dampness from rainwater or improper or the bad sloping, ponding. It stops ponding. And when the DPC can also be placed like this along the walls, known as vertical DPC. So the materials used for damp proof courts is bitumen, metal sheets, concrete, and mortar. So the next is waterproof surface treatment, in which you know it provides a thin film of water repellent materials. Basically, these are some chemical which are mixed in the material, which repel water to enter, and the material is poured over the surface, and it is also used as an external treatment in preventing dampness. So surface treatments like plastering, painting, pointing, distempering, these are given to exposed surfaces as well as the internal surfaces, and some water repellent material is added in these. Then next is integral damp-proof treatment. We already discussed about the damp-proof course. In this integral treatment, it consists of adding certain compounds to the concrete or mortar during the process of mixing. Maybe in this treatment, whenever we are preparing mortar or concrete, we add some compounds which, when used in construction, acts as a barrier to prevent or to which act as a barrier to prevent moisture penetration under different principles. So compounds like chalk, talc, Fowler's earth, etc., have mechanical action principles. Uh, then compounds like soaps, petroleum, fatty acid works on this, which are used as admixture in concrete to react with it and become water repellent. So we discussed about cavity walls. Cavity walls are the walls consist of two parallel walls or skins of masonry separated by a continuous air space or cavity between the two walls. Which helps to prevent, which acts as a barrier uh, to barrier to for which act as a barrier for dampness to enter in the building. So there is this one brick wall, and there will be a gap of 50 100 mm, and again there will be this wall. So this is known as cavity wall. When there is this cavity, there is this void between these two walls. This is known as cavity, and this is filled by some appropriate material. For example, foam, brickwork. We can use these type of materials to fill this cavity wall. And when see if there is this one wall, and there is this void, and then there is this wall. So this helps to prevent dampness entering in the building. So these cavity wall prevents the transmission of heat through walls. It also acts as a good insulation against sound. It tends to reduce the noisance of efflorescence. It also provides benefits of economy, better comfort, and hygienic conditions in buildings. Next is the gunneting. If you can see in this image, so this is all about the dampness, source of dampness, remedial measures. Now we are going to discuss about your assignment. You have to first assignment is to analyze any building in your neighborhood with respect to the classification of dampness, and you have to sketch any two types of dampness and suggest remedies for the same, and we are going to discuss in detail in the next class. For the assignment, you can take reference from these books, these PDFs, or Google links for the sectional or for the sketches of dampness. So this is all about the dampness. If you have any issue, we can discuss in the next class over your assignments. Thank you so much.